Welcome to the Freedom Camp Podcast, rooted in truth, growing in freedom, and built on the belief that you weren't meant to grow alone. Each week, I'll share honest stories, insights, and simple questions to help you explore the unseen things that keep you from living in the freedom that's already yours. And take brave, intentional steps toward the life you were made for. This is your space to reconnect with your authentic self and grow in freedom on purpose. So this week in Freedom Camp, we started off talking about giving rest to our souls. So this month is a soul month in Freedom Camp, and the overall topic is around rest. And where I'm trying to go, or where I was trying to go, was thinking about places where we may mask, where we may perform, where we may not be our authentic selves, and taking a rest from those things versus your stereotypical, like, take a nap, rest day when you're lifting weights, that kind of a thing. So I was thinking about working with looking at taking a break from the areas that we are in a place of performing. And something really cool happened. What ended up happening was we started exploring the hidden ways that we try to hold it all together. The ways that, like, we perform, we pretend, or we control. And not because we're power hungry, not because we're trying to manipulate, not because we're trying to control, but actually because our brains and our bodies think that it's safer when we do. And this either resonates or doesn't. I don't know. It resonated with us. So if it resonates with you, or you think it might, continue listening. So what ended up happening was, as we were talking about different things, what kept coming up was other people's expectations, other people's feelings, other people's opinions or thoughts or judgments, and us shifting, maybe making ourselves smaller, maybe looking at not sharing something because the other person's reaction isn't the reaction that we want, or isn't a reaction that is, like, comfortable for us. Maybe it's an uncomfortable reaction. And through this exploration in Freedom Camp, the word control came up. And when control came up, it was like a light bulb moment for several of us. And so I thought I would kind of riff on that a little bit in this podcast and see if there's some resonance with you, and also see if what we ended up doing at the end ends up being helpful for you. So looking at kind of the why, the where, what is this about? And thinking in my own marriage, the first, 5, 8, whatever years, so often my husband would say that he felt like I was trying to control him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I am not trying to control you. And not just that I was trying to control, that I was trying to have power over him, that I was trying to manipulate, that I was trying to kind of mastermind who he is and what he does. Well, as we have been married and as I have grown, yeah, I was. But I wasn't doing it knowingly, first of all. I wasn't doing it because I was trying to manipulate him, as in, like, I'm trying to get you to do something, like in a mean way. Okay, so the truth was, I actually was trying to control him and I was trying to manipulate. And I was doing it because it was a self-soothing thing for me. It was like a trauma thing for me. So I'll give an example. Um, if he was upset about something or bothered by something, I would try and fix him, make him feel better so that I could feel better rather than dealing with my own emotions. So that was like a classic way that I would control or manipulate by not I wasn't even aware I was doing it, and I wasn't aware that I wasn't dealing with my emotions. What I was aware of is I don't feel good. You are making me not feel good because you don't feel good. So let me fix you, and then when you feel better, then I'll feel better. 900 problems with that. However, we stayed married. He stayed in it, and I've grown, and I probably still do it sometimes. But I'm continuing to see more and more how this plays out, and this can play out in so many different ways. So ultimately, it's thinking, what if controlling isn't always about power? What if it's about how you keep yourself safe? What if managing other people's discomfort or feelings or reactions means that you don't have to sit with your discomfort? What if saying I'm fine when you're not fine is another way of performing for love or for approval or for peace? Meaning, like, what if another way to control is to lie, essentially, say you're fine when you're not fine, to avoid conflict and keep the peace? Except you're not really peaceful, so you're not really keeping the peace. So here's the kind of gut check. When Jesus talks about, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. He does not say, as long as you perform properly or perfectly. He doesn't have stipulations on it. He's not like, as long as you're in a good mood, you can come to me. But if you're not in a good mood, or if you're hiding from something, or if you're not the whole thing, anything. He just says, come to me if you are weary and burdened. He doesn't even say if, he says you are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And what we're exploring is the ways that we long and desperately need to surrender deeper levels to the Lord and to allow him to receive that rest, to receive that peace, to receive that break, and ideally not pick it back up, not continue to be in a, like, oh, I'll take a break for an hour and then I'm going to be back to my old ways. So one of the suggestions was around, like, thinking about, where are you performing? Where are you in a place of trying to manage other people's stuff so that you don't have to manage your own, or so it's easier to manage your own, perhaps? And then from there, it was looking at, now that you're aware of it, okay, what would that look like to lay that down, to set that aside, and to say, I'm good. I'm not going to keep doing this. And so we did some journaling around it. And then there was this kind of like, okay, I'm going to pick something. I'm going to pick a thing that I'm going to to lay down. I'm going to take a rest from it. And so for me, one of the things, as I was doing the journaling exercise, I kind of mapped it out like, as a wife, as a mom, as a daughter, as a friend, as a coach, as a business owner, these different kind of roles. And where am I performing, or where am I not being fully authentic to who I am in each of these different roles? And the one that really struck me the most at the moment was around trust with business, trust with things are going to be okay. Bills will be paid. We will grow at a steady pace. We won't be overwhelmed. Um, and seeing how this is coming out of a very traumatic year with our farm life. And last year we really went crazy with the farm and literally worked like 18-hour days for months, like 7 days a week, because we just had to at that point, and not wanting to do that ever again, ever, ever. So acknowledging on one hand, okay, my brain is kind of in this. I still probably have some, like chill out, clearly rest work to do, because it was like the biggest one that came up. So the point of all this is for you to get to what's the thing in your brain right now? And then I'm going to lead through a little lay it down practice, which is what we did in Freedom Camp to help ease us into taking a rest from that thing. So get your thing in mind. And the nice thing about a podcast, you can always come back to this later. And I'll try and have a timestamp for where this whole thing starts. And this is just going to be like a verbal thing that you're going to listen to. If you can, close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so as you are listening, and even put your hand on your heart and just kind of settle in. And so as you think of one thing that you are trying to control that is not yours to hold, picture it, and then picture it like a cloak. Picture it like one of those cool Lord of the Rings elven cape cloak things. And unclasp it and let it down. Take it off. Set it down at the feet of Jesus. Take a deep breath. Breathe it out. And leave it with Jesus in trust. And leave it knowing that it's safe there. You are safe. It is safe. You are held. You are loved. You are the beloved, even when you're not performing, even if you're, ugly crying, even if you're angry at God, he can handle it. Go read the Psalms. Look at how David would just rail on him, and rail on himself, his own soul. Leave it at the feet. And then, as Jesus often does, imagine what he is giving you in return. Not that you are asking for anything in return, but imagine what he's giving you in return. Rest, joy, peace, trust, hope. Maybe he's restoring something in your heart. Maybe he's reviving you. But there's something that he is giving to you. And if there is resistance here, With any of this, I've got a few questions that you can ask yourself. What part of me still wants to hold on or to control even this? What am I afraid will happen if I lose control or if I give up control? And what does God want me to know instead? So we're going to pause for a moment. You can listen in. So maybe this week, your freedom practice is this. When you notice yourself shape-shifting, fixing feelings, trying to control, trying to fix others around you, pause, take a breath, remind yourself you've laid this down, God's got it, and that you are safe to rest, that you don't have to manage it all. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you will feel free to reach out in the comments with questions. Reach out in the comments with what you noticed in yourself. Maybe some other form of performing came up. The whole point of this is that we're not meant to grow alone. So you are invited and welcome to join in this and share what's going on with you and how things are going. And I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom Camp podcast, where we believe freedom is nurtured from within and grows when you tend to it. If this stirred something in you, let it take root this week and see what grows. And if you enjoyed this or found it meaningful, please give the gift of a review, share it with a friend, and leave a comment below. It helps us build this podcast community because we weren't meant to grow alone.